If you came here looking for a how-to video on reading to babies, you're at the right place. Now before you begin reading a book to your child, remember that they're very sensitive and receptive to everything you say. Scary stories will frighten them, so watch what you read. What do you think of that, Eli? So today I'd like to read you some excerpts from the children's book I've been writing called Barry the Black Bear. How do you feel about that, Eli? Excellent, let's begin. There once was a bear named Barry that lived in the woods. He loved to pick berries with his big paws. Barry liked to use his paws to climb trees, fish for salmon, and pick berries in the woods. One day, Barry stumbled upon an unassuming group of campers. There were 7 of them. 4 men and 3 women. It's very important to establish things like numbers of groups of people with the child. The leader of the group's name was Trent. Of course, it's not important that you establish names with babies because they can't retain that information. But it does help to progress the story along. Barry excitedly walked up to the campers and exclaimed, "Hello, my name is Barry the Black Bear. It's very nice to meet you. What lovely weather we're having." Unfortunately, the campers could only hear the roars of an angry black bear. As you could imagine, they were quite up in arms. Luckily, Trent, the leader of the group, had a concealed weapons permit and withdrew his gun from a holster, shooting Barry in his side. How does that make you feel? Eli, look over here. The story's about to get exciting. Sometimes children have a hard time following along with the story. They might get distracted with some of their toys. So make sure you've got their attention. I said, make sure you've got their attention. That's better, thank you. Barry let out a thunderous roar as he fell to the ground. The campers were certain he had died. Trent gathered the group around to make sure no one was wounded. Of course, it's very important to teach a child to help others. Before he could say a word, they heard a roar much louder than Barry's off in the distance. It was Barry's father coming to avenge the death of his son. Cynthia, the youngest of the campers, let out a blood-boiling scream as she ran into the woods. She was met head-on by Barry's mother, who was none too happy to see the lifeless corpse of her son lying on the ground in front of her. She hurled her massive paw at Cynthia's face, digging deep into her skin, revealing a portion of her scalp. Back at camp, things were going no better. Many shots had been fired, but Barry's father was nowhere to be seen. He was hiding, plotting. The campers didn't stand a chance. Suddenly, Barry rolled over. He wasn't dead after all. Why on earth did you shoot me? I only wanted to be friends, Barry proclaimed. Angela, Trent's girlfriend, jumped on Barry's back, digging a knife deep into his neck. Really? Barry then threw her against a tree, more than likely paralyzing her. The remaining campers jumped into Trent's truck, but it was too late. Barry's father had already shown up and he was ready to eat people. Barry and his father began smashing the truck with the campers still inside. The campers were all flattened like pancakes, and the bears went home for dinner. The end. I'd like to thank my special guest, Eli. He's such a peach.